There are moments in life when strength is no longer a feeling. It becomes a quiet decision made in the dark. Not because you feel ready, not because life has become easier, but because something inside you refuses to disappear completely. Viktor Frankl understood that human beings can lose almost everything and still search for one thing that remains: meaning. Not happiness, not comfort, not control, but meaning, the reason to keep standing when life no longer gives you certainty. There are days when life becomes unbearably heavy. You wake up, but you do not feel like you have returned to your own life. The world continues as usual. Cars move, people speak, messages arrive. The sun rises, but inside you something feels frozen. You may not know how to explain it. You are not simply sad, not simply tired, not simply lost. You feel as if life has asked too much from you and yet still expects you to keep walking. This is where many people misunderstand suffering. They believe pain becomes unbearable only because it hurts. But often, pain becomes unbearable because it feels meaningless. You do not know why you are enduring it. A person can carry a heavy burden when they know what it is for. But even a small burden becomes crushing when it seems pointless. This is why meaning matters. Meaning does not remove pain, but it changes your relationship to pain. It gives suffering a direction. It turns the question from why
What does life
happening to
demand
me
now?
into what is
Pain or
life asking
responsibility?
from me now.
I must
That question
choose.
is not easy.
Who
It
are
does
you?
not comfort you like a simple
I am the
answer.
part of you knows.
It asks you to
I
become
do
deeper.
taste.
When life becomes unbearable, the first thing you often lose is not strength. It is the future. You stop seeing tomorrow as a place that could hold anything good. You only see another version of the same weight. And when the future disappears, even the present becomes harder to survive. Every hour feels larger than it should. But meaning can begin very small. Not as a grand purpose, not as a perfect plan, but as one reason to make it through this day. One person you still love. One responsibility you have not abandoned. One truth you still want to live for. Sometimes meaning is not a dream waiting in the distance. Sometimes meaning is the simple act of not betraying what still matters. Frankl believed that a person is not only shaped by what happens to them, a person is also shaped by the response
I won't
they
romanticize
choose.
this pain.
This does not
It's
mean
not beautiful
pain
or
is
good.
fair.
Loss is
It does
real,
not
and I
mean
face
loss
it honestly.
is good. It does not mean suffering should be romanticized. It means that even when life takes away your control over circumstances, it may not take away your lost freedom. The freedom to choose your attitude. The freedom to decide what kind of person you will try to be inside the pain. That freedom may be small. It may feel almost invisible. But sometimes a small inner freedom is enough to keep the soul alive. You may not be able to change the situation today. You may not be able to fix the loss, undo the failure, or erase the loneliness. But you can ask, how do I carry this without letting it turn me into someone I do not want to become? That question is painful, but it gives you back a piece of yourself. Because suffering has a way of narrowing your world. It tells you that nothing exists except the wound. It makes you forget that you are more than what happened. More than what you lost, more than what did not go as planned. Meaning widens the room again. It reminds you that pain may be part of your story, but it does not have to be the author. There is a difference between being hurt and becoming only the hurt.
I won't pretend everything is fine.
There is a difference between
But pain won't be
suffering and
only true.
surrendering your whole identity to suffering. When you have meaning, you do not need to pretend that everything is fine. You simply refuse to let pain be the only truth. You can say this is terrible and still there is something I must protect. Maybe you must protect
This is
your
not a
dignity.
chain to bind
Maybe
me.
your kindness.
It is a
Maybe
warm
your
rope.
ability to love after disappointment. Maybe you must protect a promise you made to yourself long ago before life became so heavy. This is why responsibility can become healing. Not responsibility as
What is
pressure, but
worth enduring this
responsibility
for?
as a reason to continue. A person who has someone to love, something to create, or a value to serve can endure more than they imagined. Because the question is no longer, how do I escape every painful feeling? The question becomes, what is worth enduring this for? Sometimes the answer is a person. Sometimes it is a
These
mission.
fragments reveal the false turns
Sometimes
I
it is a
took.
piece of work
As the
only
wrong
you
signs
can bring
fall
into
away,
the
failure be
world.
painful
And
teacher.
sometimes the answer is simply the future version of yourself, who may one day understand why you had to keep going. Failure also changes when you see it through meaning. It stops being only proof that you were not enough. Failure can become information. It can become correction. It can become the painful teacher that strips away false directions. This does not make failure pleasant, but it keeps failure from becoming your identity. You are not only the thing that collapsed,
I've realized
you
it's
are
the true
also the
values that
person
matter.
standing in the
The kind of
ruins
deep connection the
deciding
soul
what
truly
must be
needs.
rebuilt. Loneliness also changes when meaning enters it. Loneliness may still hurt, but it no longer has to mean that your life is empty. Sometimes loneliness is the space where you hear your own conscience again. The space where borrowed desires begin to fall.
Dignity begins in the
Loneliness, you may
posture.
discover what you truly
Beside
miss,
me,
what
the
you
sadness.
truly value, and what kind of connection your soul actually needs. Uncertainty also changes when meaning becomes stronger than fear. You may not know what happens next, but you know how you want to meet it. You may not know the outcome, but you can choose the posture of your heart. This is where dignity begins.
It arrives not as
Not in
passion,
winning, not in
but as
being
a war.
untouched, but in refusing to let chaos decide your character. There
Do
are
not
people
let
who
this
become
be
bitter
for nothing.
because pain gave them an excuse to close. And there are people who become deeper because pain asked them to open differently. The difference is rarely talent, it is often meaning. Meaning does not shout. It does not always arrive as passion. Sometimes it arrives as a quiet sentence inside you. Do not let this be for nothing. That sentence can become a lantern. Small, fragile, but enough to see the next step. And sometimes the next step is all you are given. Not the whole road, not the full explanation. Just one step that still belongs to you. Take the step with honesty.
This bitter path calls to
Take
my
it with trembling
resentment, but I
hands if
must
you
not
must.
yield. I
Take
choose
it
the
without
dispel.
pretending to be stronger than you are. Because courage
I
is
won't
not
let
always
this
loud.
cold take
Sometimes
me.
courage is continuing, without applause, without certainty, and without anyone fully understanding the weight you carry. There is a kind of strength that does not look strong from the outside. It looks like getting up again when no one sees the battle. It looks like answering life with responsibility when resentment would be easier. It looks like staying human in a world that gave you reasons to become cold. Frankl's deepest message is not that suffering is good. His message is that even suffering can be met with meaning. And when suffering is met with meaning, it does not have the final word. Pain may shape you, but meaning can shape what you become through pain. Loss may break something open, but meaning can decide what grows in that open place.
This is what still
Uncertainty
matters, what
may
must not be
frighten you,
abandoned.
but
And
meaning
who
can give
needs
you
the
a reason
survived
to walk
version of
without
me?
guarantees. So if life feels
What
unbearable right
value
now,
can be served
do not
today?
demand that you understand everything today. Begin smaller. Ask what still matters. Ask what must not be abandoned. Ask who needs
What
the
is
version
life?
of you that survives this.
One honest
Ask what
action.
value you can serve
I
today,
step forward.
even in a small way. Ask what act of courage is still possible. Maybe it is a conversation. Maybe it is forgiving. Maybe it is discipline. Maybe it is simply refusing to give up on your own becoming. Meaning is not always found by thinking harder. Sometimes it is found by answering life with one honest action. One act of love, one act of responsibility, one act of creation, one act of courage. And slowly life may not become easy, but it becomes bearable again. Not because the pain vanished, but because the pain is no longer empty. It now belongs to a larger story, a story where you are not merely someone who suffered, but someone who learned how to carry suffering without losing the soul. That is the quiet power of meaning. It does not always save you from the storm, but it gives you a reason to walk through it with your humanity still intact. And perhaps one day you will look back and realize that the unbearable chapter was not the end of your life. It was the place where a deeper life began asking to be born.